start laying down on your back. And just take a moment to kind of tune into your body, drop into this moment by feeling the ground underneath you, noticing any sensations that are obvious in your body. Maybe you have a little twinge, maybe you just feel great. You notice some creakiness, whatever it is, just allow it to be in this moment. And then we'll start to do some breath work here. So we're going to do 5 counts on the inhale and 5 counts on the exhale. Just breathe smoothly with this. Bring it nice and slow. Begin by exhaling everything all the way out. And breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the next breath in, tilt your pelvis forward, feel the low back slightly arch. And the belly stretch. And on the breath out, tuck the tailbone and feel your low back press into the floor as you contract through the front of your belly. Just moving with your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Nice and smooth. Movement, nice and smooth breath. Go for one more in this direction. And then find neutral again. And we'll tilt from right to left hip. So if you imagine like you have a marble drop down right into the center of your pelvic bowl, you're just going to roll that marble from right side of your hip to left side of your hip. And you're just going back and forth, keeping the knees relatively still. Just kind of isolating that movement in your pelvis. And then we'll try to bring this into circles. So you'll start by tucking the tailbone or feeling the back press into the floor. And then just simply rolling that marble to the left hip, down and around to the pelvic or to the pubic bone, over to the right hip, and then back to the belly. And just go for one more in this direction, circling your marble around. And then we'll reverse the circle, going the other way. And then find neutral. Imagine again that marble is right in the center of your pelvic floor. Walk your knees and your feet together. Keeping your hands on your hip bones to monitor. You're going to allow one knee to open out to the side. Try to avoid the pelvis from moving. And then hug that knee back in. And then going to the opposite side and back in. Take it nice and slow for the first few especially, so you can really be honest with yourself about keeping that pelvis stable. Again, imagining the marble that you have in the pelvic bowl is just staying right in the center of the bowl, not rolling side to side. Starting to feel some heat and some some engagement into that core as you move freely through the hip. One more on each side. Beautiful. And then from here, we place the hands on the shoulders. Draw circles with the elbows. Just big circles to get those shoulders nice and warmed up. Get some circulation into there. Circle the other way. This feels so good. Reach your arms up towards the sky. And then do some scapular glides. So your shoulder blades will slide in towards each other. And then your shoulder blades slide away from each other as you reach higher. You just go in and out of that a couple more times. I like to think of my shoulder blades like 2 bars of soap. We're just scrubbing that upper back with the soap so it's nice and smooth. And then find somewhere in between for the shoulder blades to land. Now we're going to open the arms and the knees out to the sides as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, hug everything back to midline. Go for about 2 more like this. I like to call this one butterfly. We're expanding with the inhale and we're contracting with the exhale. Last one. And then going for opposites. So right arm, left knee out to the side. Hug it back in. And then left arm, right knee. And hug it in. Good. Keep alternating sides. And again, we're trying to keep the torso now as still as possible. So if you go back to thinking of your marble and your pelvic bowl, it's staying right in the middle as we move through the arm and the leg. Creating that oblique connection from left rib cage to right hip and vice versa. Last one on each side. And then bring both arms out to the sides. Step your feet wide, a bit wider than hips distance apart. And on the next breath in, let your knees turn towards the right, your gaze towards the left. And then exhale back up. Inhale, knees left, gaze right. Exhale, lift up. And just continue to alternate sides here. Getting a nice, easeful stretch through the side body as you move. Let it feel like you're just kind of flowing through this, minimal effort. And if for some reason this doesn't feel good for your back or anywhere else, just bring it back to center. And that goes to show, or goes to say for the entire class, if there's anything that doesn't feel right in your body today, then just skip it. Bring it back to center. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Find that core connection. So neutral spine, but we're creating a little bit of engagement into the front of the belly. And then lift one leg at a time to tabletop. We're going to start by just keeping the legs put and then reaching the arms back behind you. Inhaling back, exhaling up towards the sky. Just go for 3 more like that. And then pause with the arms, dipping your right heel towards the floor and then picking it back up. Left heel towards the floor, pick it back up. Just keep alternating sides, just the heels or just the legs moving. Go for about 6 more. 5. Good. Can you keep the neck nice and relaxed, feeling a little more work, a little more heat building in the torso. Last 2. Last 1. Keep the left foot down, hug your right knee towards your chest, and then circle your right ankle around in one direction and the other direction. then place your hands behind your thigh. Flex your ankle and push your heel up towards the ceiling, any amount, and then point your toe and pull your knee back in towards your chest. Just go in and out of that about 5 times total. Feeling that stretch and then that compression. Tuning back into your breath as you move. On this last one, we'll stay up with that leg. Push the back of your left leg into the floor and then get really strong through the right leg. Arms come down by your sides and we'll slowly lower that right leg down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Just flex or bend your left knee, and we're gonna do a few leg raises on this right side. So with your left foot on the floor, you're gonna flex your right ankle and see if you can engage this muscle on the top of your thigh, the quad muscle. So feel that fire up, feel your core engage, and then lift your right leg up just to the height of the opposite knee. And then lower back down. We'll go for 10 here. So lifting up, lower down, good, for 8 more. And again, trying to keep that quad muscle, that muscle on the front of the thigh, engaging throughout. Last 5. 3, keeping your back relatively pressed down into the floor. Last 2. And last 1. Good. Now, pull your right knee towards your chest. Cross your ankle over your left thigh. And maybe you just hang out here. Maybe this is a good enough stretch. Maybe you lift the left leg off the floor and grab hold of the back of your thigh. Wherever you are, just breathe into the stretch. Be here for about 30 seconds. You can always pause the video if you want a little longer time doing this stretch. But for today, we'll do about 30 seconds. So all you have to do here is focus on relaxing, which is can be challenging if you're in a pretty deep stretch, but that's the work. Can you tell the body that it's safe to be in this position? Deeper breaths. Then we'll go ahead and lower the left foot down, lower the right foot down, bring the arms to the sky. Bring the legs back up to tabletop. This time going into bird dog, we're going to reach the right arm back, left leg forward, and then hug them back in. And then switch left arm, right leg, and bring it back in. Just keep alternating sides. Doesn't really matter what your ankle's doing here. If you prefer the toes to be pointed, do that. If you want to do flexed feet, that works too. Really just finding what your body's calling for in this moment. Again, the focus is on maintaining that neutral spine position, maintaining that connection through the core. Sometimes it's tempting to flare the rib cage here, and then we're getting more pressure into that low back. So see if you can keep it more about the front of your abdomen, staying knitted in, if that's something that you're noticing. Let's go for 2 more. Last one. And then hug your left knee towards your chest, right leg long on the floor, and just circle that ankle around, circling it nice and slow, trying to find that full range of motion. And then circle the other way. So good for the ankle joint to move this way. And then hands behind the thigh. Flex your ankle, push your heel up towards the ceiling. And then point your toe and pull the knee back in and down. Just go in and out of this movement about 4 more times. Moving with the breath. Last one, keep your leg up towards the ceiling. Press the back of your right leg into the floor, arms relaxed down. And then slowly lower the left leg down, reaching it long throughout for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your right knee, placing your foot on the floor. Flex your left ankle so the toes come back towards your shin. And engage through the front thigh, the front of your left thigh. Feel that muscle squeezing as you lift the leg up to the height of the opposite knee and then lower back down. Can you feel, we're going for 10 here, by the way. Can you feel your core is activating as a part of this movement, how to help make this movement feel a bit more efficient? Can you remain neutral through the spine? So again, you're not arching the back as you move through the leg. You're keeping that kind of more flat back position. So really focus on the front of the thigh into the hip flexor and the core working here. Of course, I've lost count, so I think we have about 3 more, I'm guessing. Last 2. And last 1. Now just bend this knee towards your chest, cross it over the left ankle, or the right knee, left ankle over right knee. And maybe you just hang out here. Maybe this is already enough. Maybe you lift your right leg up, holding onto the back of the thigh. And then just relax into this stretch. Breathing into it. Sometimes it's helpful to kind of lean a little bit towards the right or the left. Just create a little more added stretch, but totally up to you. Soften the face. Relax the hips as best you can. If there's any pinchiness in the front of the hip, then back out of it a little bit. Should be feeling a stretch in the kind of the side of your hip, the side of the leg. 2 more breaths. And then lower your right foot down. Lower your left foot down. And then we're going to set up for bridging. So take the headrest off if you have one on. Set up your feet so they're about hips distance apart. Not too far in, but just kind of like relatively underneath the knees. Arms down by your sides. Relax the arms. And then find that pelvic tilt that we started with. So find that kind of flat back. Feel how when you do that, your sits bones squeeze together a little bit and kind of exaggerate that action of squeezing the sits bones together as you slowly roll up through the spine. Lifting up until you're at kind of this diagonal line from your shoulders out through the knees. Again, letting the arms relax, shoulders or the front of the chest nice and open. And then roll back down 1 vertebra at a time. Inhale back to center with the pelvis. Exhale, tuck. Feel the sits bones squeeze and then roll up. Inhale at the top and exhale, roll back down. And we'll go go for about 3 more just like this. Moving really deliberately. Feeling the glutes really activate here. Feeling the core is connected. We'll go for 1 more just like this. Good. And then we'll go into alternating hip dips. So you're gonna let one hip just kind of drop down a little bit and then press through the foot and scoop that hip back up. Let the opposite hip dip down a little bit and then scoop it back up, flexing that glute. Just keep alternating sides, keeping all 4 corners of both feet anchored down as you move through the pelvis. So now we are purposefully rolling that marble from right hip to left hip. If that metaphor worked for you, or that image. Really starting to create a little bit more fire in those glutes. We'll go for 4 more. 2 and 1. Now bring it back to center and roll back down through the spine. Good. As long as that went well, we're going to add on. So for this one, we're going to step the feet a little bit closer together because we're going to lift a leg once we're up there. So start by tucking the tailbone, rolling up, finding your bridge. And then shift your weight into your right foot. Get really stable there and lift your left leg up to tabletop. We're just gonna hold for 10 seconds. And I want you to feel this sense of pushing down through your right foot and pulling the left knee towards your chest. So this is push-pull action, this equal opposite action. Last 3, 2, 1. Lower the left foot down and then lower the pelvis down. Good. Try that on the other side. Go ahead and tuck the tailbone, roll up. If it doesn't feel good to lift one leg, just go back to the alternating hip dips or even just doing a regular bridge. Otherwise, shift your weight into your left foot and then pull your right knee towards your chest. And we have this push-pull happening. Holding that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your right foot back down. Take a breath in and lower back down on the breath out. Very good. All right. We're going to take it to the side. So go ahead and roll onto your right side. Or left. Doesn't really matter. We'll do both. Option to use a pillow under the head or maybe even put your arm under your head, whatever is more comfortable for you. And we're gonna start by making sure the pelvis is nice and stacked. And we're not just leaning into the floor with the side body. We're kind of lifting away from the floor here with that waistline a little bit. So we have equal length through both side bodies. Now float the top leg up. And we're gonna start by just drawing circles with that knee. So really we're circling in the hip joint. We're juicing that hip joint, so to speak. You can imagine that ball and socket just moving around nice and smooth. And trying to keep the bottom leg as relaxed as possible. That can be kind of hard because we want to stabilize with that, but can you really focus on the stability coming from the core and the movement coming from that top hip? Circle the other way. Hopefully the glute and around the hip is starting to feel a little spicy here soon. Starting to warm up a little bit more. Last 3, 2, and 1. Now going from the flexed hip and knee to an extended hip and knee. So we're pushing the leg straight out and then pulling the knee back up. All the while, we're keeping our hips stacked, our back neutral. So as the knee comes forward, thinking of kind of deepening the hip crease in the front. As we push the leg out, thinking about engaging through the back of the leg into the glute. Go for 2 more. And last one, keep that leg back and do little pulses up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that foot down. Slide it back behind you and take the top arm forward and up in front of you, kind of creating this diagonal line with your body. And breathe into that whole top side. Beautiful. And here we're going to bend the knee, the arm back in. Knees come up towards the chest a bit. Reach your arms out in front of you. First, we start with the hands together. Then we slide the top arm forward, kind of turning the chest towards the floor. And then pull the arm back, drawing that shoulder blade back towards the spine. And then we open the arms. So we're opening the top arm back and the chest towards the sky. Once you're back there, take a big breath in. As you breathe out, bring that arm back forward. Slide forward, reach forward, slide back, and then inhale, open the arm towards the back, open the chest towards the sky, and then exhale, the arm comes back forward. All the while, we're trying to keep the knees relatively stable. So we're trying to avoid this from sliding back by keeping the knees kind of squeezed together. And then we'll go for 1 more. Reaching, pull back, open the chest, breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring it back forward. All right, let's take it to the other side. So you can just turn over, or you can do it like I did. Again, just make sure you're comfortable here on your side body. You're nice and stacked. Core is connected, and then we'll float the top leg up. Go for our knee hip circles. Tendency would be, if we're not stable in the pelvis, would be for the whole body to kind of rock forward and back. So you want to keep that same pressure, that same weight into your bottom leg and hip. Circle the other way. That's kind of a good indicator that you're maintaining that stable, stacked position as you move through the top hip. Letting the neck and the shoulders stay relaxed. And we'll go for 2 more. And then we'll do our presses. So flex the ankle, push through the foot, straightening the leg, and then bend the knee back forward, hinging from that hip crease. Pushing out and pulling forward. Good. I always like to say right about now, the glute should start feeling a bit spicy, like it's working. You might also feel this on the side of the leg. Really, it's okay, wherever you feel it is perfectly fine, but we do want to target a bit more into that glute. So just bringing your awareness there sometimes can help you contact that if you're not feeling it there. Just a little reminder. And then straighten that leg all the way, and we're just gonna do little pulses up and back. It's like you're pushing your heel up and back into the wall behind you. I feel that nice squeeze in my glute at its end range. Go for about 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower that foot down and slide it back. Top arm slides forward and up. And then we breathe into the stretch here, this diagonal stretch. I feel it the most in my hip, like the front of my hip. So I'll just send my breath there. And then stretch from the inside out when we breathe into our torso. All right, bringing the knee forward and up with the knees towards the chest. Hands start stacked. Stretch that top arm forward to begin, and then pull the shoulder blade back. Open the chest towards the sky as the arm reaches back behind you. Pause for a breath in. And then on your breath out, bring the arm back forward. Pull back, open up. Breathe in once you're back there. Breathe out, bring it forward. Let's go for 2 more. This should feel really good. So for some reason it's not feeling good, then maybe an indication that you should modify or, just breathe a little bit smoother. All right, done with that. We're gonna come up to hands and knees now. And just pausing here, take a few cat-cows, arching the back, look forward, rounding the back, looking towards the belly button. Take it nice and slow, smooth, like Jiffy peanut butter. It's gotta be Jiffy because, like the all natural stuff is a little more like sticky. It's not as smooth as the smooth Jiffy. Good, last one, and then find neutral spine. And just do a few scapular glides here. We did this laying on our back, now we're doing it with a weight bearing on our hands, so you feel the chest drop down as the shoulder blades squeeze together, and then you feel the chest lift away as the shoulder blades separate. Just find that a couple more times. Good, and then take it back to a child's pose. Walk your hands to the right side of the mat, really rooting down through that left hip and left hand. Breathe into the left rib cage. And then we'll bring it back through center and over to the left with the hands, rooting down through the right side body, breathing into the right rib cage. Imagining the ribs separating like an accordion as you breathe in and out. And bring the arms back to center. Come up to hands and knees and then lower down onto the forearms. Now, I don't have a clock in front of me, so we're gonna do a guesstimate of how long this plank is, but I wanna demo it too. So here we go. Either way, you can have your hands or your forearms parallel or hands together. I don't really mind which one you choose. Just make sure you're not sinking into your shoulders. So really push the ground away. Keep the back of your neck lifted, not like this. Your gaze is still down. It's the back of the neck lifted with the chin tucked. And then tuck the toes, float the knees off the ground. Now, in our plank position, the most vulnerable area is gonna be the low back So we want to think about scooping the pubic bone up towards the belly button. And then from there, just keeping that nice solid front of your core, but simultaneously reaching the chest forward, the heels back. So we're keeping our length, but we're also keeping our strength in the core. And then from here, we like to think about, okay, we want to be distracted. So pushing the ground away, squeezing the quads, engaging the glutes. Think of all the different parts of your body working to hold you here. It's a really full body experience. Nothing like a good plank to keep us in the moment. So keep breathing. Can you feel that sense of length and strength through your core, through your spine, through your arms, through your legs, holding for 10 seconds. 3 more smooth breaths. 3, 2, 1. Lower the knees down and find a rest position. From here, we're going to walk the hands back towards the knees and come all the way up to stand. Okie dokie. So we got to add in some balance work, of course. And I always like to start with calf raises. This is something that we overlook oftentimes, and it's important that we remain strong in our calves, in our ankles, and our feet. This is a great exercise for that. Let's start with the feet together. Ankles stay squeezing in. And then it is helpful if you're holding on to something, whether it be a wall or a chair or a PVC pipe. But not always necessary. So up to you if you want to hold on to something, but we're just lifting and lowering the heels. Trying to do it with control to the best of our ability. So that's why it's kind of nice to hold on to something, because you're still working balance, but we're also giving ourselves that sometimes needed support in order to really do it with quality. So the things to think about here are keeping the weight towards the big toe mound as we lift up, and then trying to lower down a bit slower. So controlling that articulation through the foot as we lower back down and as we lift. We'll go for about 3 more. Last 2 and last 1. Beautiful. Okay. So from here, if you have, actually I'm going to use the roller for this one, but if you have a chair, that's probably the best thing to use. The back of the chair, hands on the back of the chair. We're going to step right foot back, left foot forward, and just find that stretch, that calf stretch here. We just worked the calves, so this should feel pretty good. And just hang out here for a moment. Really lengthening through the back heel. Good. And from here, just look down at your feet. Make sure you're not on a tightrope with your feet. You have some width between your feet. And then we're just gonna lift that back heel up and bend both knees, lowering the back knee towards the floor and then straightening both legs up. So you have the support of the chair in front of you, but if you want, and if you're feeling pretty good here, try doing it without. You have it there if you need it though, so just remember that. We'll go for about 6 more. Checking in, the front foot is staying rooted down all four corners. The back knee is tracking forward, maybe even slightly out to the right. Last one. Good. And then we're going to step that right foot forward, left foot back, find your calf stretch to start. Feels pretty good right about now. Really pushing the heel back, breathing into it. It's actually more helpful to do this against a wall so you have a little more pressure to push through the wall and back into that foot. But this works for now. Make sure your feet are not on a tightrope. Again, they're set in a position that feels good to do our lunges. And then again, we're gonna lower that back knee towards the floor and stand back up, straightening both legs. Going for 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step forward, shake it out. Beautiful. All right, from here we're gonna do a 3-point touch. So we're standing sideways on to our chair. And we're gonna start by weight bearing in the left foot. Pick up your right foot and then reach that foot forward. Now, to tap down, we're gonna bend the left knee. Notice if the left knee caves in. We wanna think about keeping the knee in line with the second and third toe as we tap down. And then lift it back up. And let's go for 2 more forward reaches. Now, wherever the foot is reaching, the body can lean away from that for a counterbalance. So I'm kind of leaning my back behind me. When we go to the side, which is going to be next, we reach that right leg out to the right. The chest or the torso can kind of point over, up and over towards the left. So as we tap down, we create this counterbalance. Bring it back in, reach to the side, tap. And then back in, reach, tap. Good. Now, last one is reaching back. So again, the body, torso can go opposite of where the foot goes. So I'm leaning forward now through my chest, and I'm gonna tap down. And then bring it back forward, and tap. Bring it in, and tap, and in. Feel free to do a few rounds of that, but for now, we're just gonna do the other side. All right, so weight bearing on that right leg now. Reach your left foot forward and tap down for 1, 2, checking in with that knee, tracking, and 3. Reach that leg to the left and bend the right knee to tap down, bring it back in for 2 and for 3. Good. Last one, we're reaching that foot back, bend and tap for 1, 2, and 3. Beautiful. Last balance exercise. We're gonna try to just hold. So we're gonna balance on one foot, starting with the left side. So get strong through that left hip. Sometimes when we go to weight bear in one foot or one leg, this kind of hip kick out to the side happens. So what I want you to think of instead is like you're pulling all of that, you're gathering all that up and in, and then hold that position lift your right foot up and rebreathe and hold and balance. We're gonna do the 30 seconds, so clock has been going for about 10 seconds. We've got about 20 more. Now, if you're falling out of it, just come right back into it. All good. That's part of the work. See, I'm about to fall out of it. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And lower down. Shake it out. Good work. We're going to do the other side. So shift your weight into your right foot and make sure that hip is hugging up and in. And we'll start in 3, 2, 1. Lift the left foot. Now, notice my knee's not locked out. I have a slight bend. Not a big bend, just like a baby bend. Oh yeah, and I'm not holding on to anything. You can hold on. You can use it as you need to, but the goal is to hold this without holding on to anything for 30 seconds. We've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down, shake it out. Let it go, you did it. Keep coming back to it, keep practicing. All right. Last thing we're gonna do is just a little bit of upper body. So grab a band and start by just reaching that band straight out in front of you, palms face down. All we're gonna do is pull the band apart, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and then let the arms come back forward, the shoulder blades separate again. I'll show you on my back. So as I pull apart, my shoulder blades squeeze in and down my back. And then as I reach back forward, you'll see they slide away from each other. So just keep going. We're going for 10. So about 8 more. Thinking of staying standing nice and tall, resisting the shoulders from elevating. So this kind of movement here, no bueno. We want to keep thinking of keeping the shoulders down and really feeling the muscles between your shoulder blades working. And the backs of the shoulders, your deltoids, the triceps, really all around the arms are working, but kind of initiating the pull from between the shoulder blades. Last 3, 2, and 1. Good. And then lower down. Do some shoulder circles. Now, this next one is helpful if you have an anchor to put your band around. If you don't have one, right immediately next to you, go find one. You can put it like in like on a table, like a heavy table. Yeah, that's the main thing I can think about. Just make sure it's not you're not gonna pull like anything over. But put it around something so you can hold either side of your band. And then just soften your knees and go into chest expansion, or pull those arms straight back. The arms stay straight, and then let the arms reach back forward. This one, we're not squeezing the shoulder blades together per se. We're focusing more on the backs of the arms working. We're also focusing on the front of the core staying engaged. So as we pull back, it's like it engages just a little bit more each time. Let's go for 3 more. Standing nice and tall through the crown of the head. Last 1. And then keep the arms reaching forward. I'm going to take a little step back because I'm going to squat down. And then as I stand tall, I'm going to pull back into chest expansion. Squeeze in my glutes. Squat down and pull back. Good. Let's go for 4 more.
feel free again to do as many of these as you like. Generally I would have you do like a few rounds of this, but just for this video, we're keeping it a little shorter. Last 3, or last 2, and last 1. Beautiful. Bring it back in, let go of your band, shake out the wrist, shake out the body. And just take a moment and stand tall. Close the eyes if that feels comfortable, or just gaze out in front of you, nice soft gaze. And see if you can feel a sense of stacking your body, stacking your bones. So you're not shifted back to the heels, you're not too far forward towards your toes, you're kind of like right in the middle of your foot. So the weight is kind of forward a little bit. And just take a couple breaths here, imagining like you can fill up your breath into your entire body at once as you breathe in. And then let the outer edges of your body soften as you breathe out. This next breath in, circle the arms to the sky, reach high, look there, wiggle the fingers in celebration, and then exhale, push the palms back down. Don't miss it. Roll the shoulders back, roll them forward, and shake it out. Woo! All right, very good work today. I hope you enjoyed that, and much love to you.